Hello YouTube. I'm making this video on the some of the things that I've learned over the years. I guess one thing is I learned the brutality of man firsthand, very young in life, and it always kind of made me really kind of question things, question humanity, and you have different types of people. You have, and I truly believe this, that you have the predator types, and then you have the prey. You have the people that are not necessarily prey, but maybe just naive and not expecting bad things to happen, and then wonder why bad things happen. And the reason I'm making this video is I want to talk about something that I was not a part of, but impacted my life at a very early age, at the age of like 15 years old. When I grew up in San Diego. And I basically was going to school. I was in a private Catholic school. My parents sent me and my brother to the Catholic school because they had good. They had good. It was a good school, and it was good for discipline and stuff, But regardless of that, it was a school that was in San Diego. It's still there today. But what happened? Something occurred back in 1978. I was 15 years old, so I was in 10th grade. And what happened was a plane, a 727, which is a big airliner, coming from I think up north in California, maybe from LA or something. I think Sacramento. Was basically coming down. It was on approach into Lindbergh Field, which is the airport in San Diego, the main airport. They've changed the name, I think. I don't think it's Lindbergh Field anymore. But what happened was this airplane got into an accident with another Cessna airplane. And the Cessna basically collided with the 727 airliner, and the Cessna went down. And then I think it might have taken a minute at the most for the airliner to crash into a neighborhood in the older part of San Diego, which happened to be about 3/4 of a mile from our school when it crashed. And I was in school, my brother was in school, we were both in class. It was about 9 o'clock in the morning, and the plane basically crashed in this neighborhood, and everyone died on the plane. I think it was 143 people, and then 7 people died on the ground. The crash was so I don't know if you want to say violent, or it was just so I guess it'd just be violent. The plane crashed into this neighborhood at such a speed that when it crashed, and they finally started to bring the bodies, get in there and see what was going on. The bodies that none of them could really be identified because they were so. They were basically, one of the firemen explains that the bodies basically were like jelly. So it was just, the bodies were just mush. And at the time, me being a 15-year-old kid, I was like, oh, so, I started hearing the helicopters coming overhead. I was in class. My brother actually saw the plane go down. He was out in the courtyard. and the plane went down. I was in class. I started hearing all the helicopters going overhead, and I just didn't really know what was going on. My brain was kind of like, yeah, what's happening, As I always kind of had a little bit of anxiety about, certain things, and things that I didn't understand made me very nervous. And I was just a little, kid. So, but I remember the helicopters going overhead. There's a lot of yelling and stuff outside, but the intercom came on. The principal basically told everyone to stay put in the class, and we just kind of stayed there in the classroom, and nobody really knew what was going on. Eventually, the principal told everyone to go out into this courtyard area, and we went out there, and we were informed what had happened. And then they said a prayer, because it's a Catholic school, so they say a prayer for the victims, and basically they let us go. In my mind, I was thinking, oh wow, I can go home and go surf. I mean, that's what a 15-year-old kid thinks. He's like, oh great, I get to go play, and so we took off and went playing, went surfing and stuff. And I remember even when I was surfing, I could see the smoke. It was about 10 miles away, but I could still see the smoke up in the air from that plane crash. And so that was kind of the end of it. I didn't really hear a whole lot more about it. I did, and eventually we went back to school, and I did know that they used our gym as a morgue, for the temporary morgue for all the victims of the crash. But then I didn't really think a whole lot about it. Afterwards, life just kind of went on. I ended up going in the Marines a couple of years later, and I was too busy to really think about it and give it much thought. I didn't even really realize how close we had gotten to possibly being hit by this aircraft, because it was so close to the school. It was like a block and a half away, or maybe 2-3 blocks away. And the thing is it wiped out this whole area of this community completely. They were finding bodies in trees. They were finding body parts, and not even bodies, just body parts. They were finding body parts like slung through windows and stuff. I did see a video where there was a video. This was actually the crash was a PSA Flight 182, September 25th, 1978. But I did see some videos of the aftermath, basically with San Diego Fire Department and the police department that went through there. And some of the images from the video were, I don't really know how to explain it. It looked like it was a horror movie. The close-ups of body parts bubbling, basically just like a torso bubbling from the heat, really kind of hit home. And these were just regular people coming back down to San Diego. There was a lot of flight attendants on there. I think there was almost like, from what I remember, I think there was close to 20-something people that worked for the airliner that were on that aircraft that passed away. But I never really heard a whole lot about it until I had the time to research about it and see some of the things that had happened from that crash. The one thing I took away from this whole ordeal, especially from the videos that I saw and some of the eyewitnesses and stuff like that, is the brutality of man, that of people that went and just took advantage of the situation to go up to, say, an arm, you know, that had no body on it, and just take off the watch or take off rings, jewelry. From what I've heard, people were getting looted for different things, wallets and stuff, and these are the things that really make me always made me kind of question mankind. When a person, what kind of a person could look at a situation like that and see it as an opportunity versus as a reason for empathy. And that always really kind of made me really question people and their motives, and it can be very scary, because when people, normal, everyday looking people, go into a situation like that and just see that as a door to benefit, is really sad. And that was one of the things that I've realized, that people come in all shapes and sizes and thinking, and but that in particular really affected me for and to this day I still think about it from time to time, thinking about, wow, how crazy it was. And the ironic thing was how violent it was, and how people can just be so disgusting, really, when it comes to stuff like that, taking advantage of stuff like that. I think the only other place you would see something like that kind of behavior, is with the homeless population, because I was homeless before, and I remember that the level of just the level of just it's not even greediness, it's just desperation. The desperation of people will cause them to do all kinds of crazy stuff. So as far as people that are in those types of situations, and a lot of people will say, oh, the homeless guy was crazy. Well, becoming homeless can actually turn a person kind of crazy, but that was like the only time I've really saw how brutal people in society can really be, and taking advantage of a situation that was horrific to begin with. So I just wanted to share that, talk about that a little bit, because a lot of younger people don't know about that, and never really weren't alive when that happened. I mean, that was close. I wear sunglasses because my eyes, I have my eyes are sensitive to light. But that was one of the things that I will always remember, is how crazy that was, with the airline crash, the devastation it caused, and the way people went and took advantage of a horrible situation already and made it even worse. So I guess it's food for thought. Thanks for watching.